So the first question is, how did you get started in broking?
That's an interesting one. Like I actually, myself and my partner, we bought our first place with a mortgage broker that was absolutely just terrible experience, terrible service, no customer service. It was a nightmare. When we went to buy our second place, we decided that we'd use a different mortgage broker, and we had a really good experience. And we sort of looked at it and we actually pulled the pin of buying a second property instead of bought a mortgage broking business. So essentially, we just looked at it and said, well, if that numpty can make money, anyone can make money. Like if you can nail down your customer service and what you can give to a customer, and you can learn the rest. You can learn the policy, the processes, everything else can be learned. When we went to Aussie, we sort of went to one of those open nights and hung back, and we saw one of the representatives, and we said, we just want retail. We have no idea what we're doing. This is the first time we're doing it, and we're going to open up a retail store in a shopping center. It took us quite a while to convince them that we knew what we were doing and it would work. So that's how kind of the quick story that we got into. We just had a bad experience and a good experience. We sort of looked at it and went, this is a good business proposition. Both myself and my partner were transitioning away from our existing employment. This sort of opened up, and my partner was a lot more brave than I was. I was in a nice, secure job, but we threw it in and see what stuck, and kind of worked out for the best.
Love it. All right. So what is your proudest accomplishment in your business today?
I would say getting to the position now where, it's not just a two-man team, it's a two-man team with two PAs, and about to bring on looking for a third broker, and starting to get a business, not just a job. So we're transitioning away from having a job to actually running a business.
So what is your favorite book?
Favorite book? I did admit that I'm not a big reader. So I'm more into the podcasts, the YouTubes, that type of thing. I do enjoy podcasts. So when I take the dogs for a walk...
What's your favorite podcast and why?
Well, I should, we'll put it out there, obviously the Ross podcast is pretty good, and besides saying that your podcast is pretty good, it's like I also listen to James Bigelli, and it's just one big advertisement for his business. So it gives you enough tidbits to get you interested, but doesn't let out the whole secrets. He doesn't interview people and they're telling their secrets. At least when you're interviewing other people, it's not held back to the point where you've got to sign up. You can listen to it. The guests that you have also tells their problems and how their solutions and how they grew and all that sort of stuff. The other one I like is another podcast, is the real estate one. He's quite good. I just like his passion. I just like Gavin Rubinstein. I love his passion.
How do you prefer to start your day?
I normally I got two Labradors. I take them for a walk in the morning and listen to some podcasts and get right for the day, and then usually followed by about three or four shots of caffeine. So that's generally how I start my day.
If you could be stuck on a plane next to somebody for 24 hours, traveling to, say, Europe, who would it be and why? So a celebrity. As
much as he's a wanker, I'd love to sit next to Elon Musk. He's got some great visions. Also, I'm after the new Model X Plaid that's going to come out in about 2 years, and it's really expensive. Maybe I can get a discount. But he's got some good visions.
How many hours per day and how many days per week?
It's a lot less than what it used to be. I do 3 days a week in one store and 3 days a week in the other store, so 6 days a week. I'm now dropped down from 7 days to 6 days. So I take Sundays off now that I've got a house and dogs and other things besides work. Generally, it's between 9 and 5:30. Obviously, there's some after-hours stuff. And, I try and direct a lot of the after-hour appointments into a Saturday, but generally 9 to 5:30-ish, essentially. I'm getting older and I'm not as keen to do, to 8, 9, 10 o'clock each night.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned since you've started mortgage broking?
wasn't as easy as I thought when I first started, that's for sure. That was probably the biggest lesson. Like, you know, I think not my naivety of walking into a full business with no idea sort of opened my eyes up. But that would be the business in itself is the lesson. So people like, you know, try and break it down to a simple form of just, well, you sell more product. There's a lot that goes into selling more product. And it's the little 1%ers that always make a difference in any business. It's that, you know, if a client rings me now, their name and phone number come up on my phone. So, you know, just answering a client by their name it just kills the competition because you've got that connection. So part of every time we send a file invite out where clients are uploading documents, one of my team's job is to make sure that name and phone number and email is in my phone.
Yeah, I love that, Dean. I think, someone told me, take the time where you think you're going to be in 12 months and triple it because, quite often it's 3 times harder than you think it's going to be.
I wish someone told me that in 2013 when I opened the business. I was standing there with a couple of mobile brokers that were trying to go to AREP, which is like taking off leads. And we just told them that, we're opening a store and we have no experience. And they just looked at us and went, you're crazy. And we're like, we'll make it. We'll make it work. So in 12 months later, like 12 months ago, we opened up Mossman, which is getting to the point where it's starting to cover costs and doing its thing.
All right, love it. And again, that passion has been there from day one. I've known Dean since he started in Aussie, and he obviously looked up to me at that point in time. And I remember a particular, Christmas party down at the Rocks. I think it was the James Bond theme one, which was probably one of your first Christmas parties. And
yeah, it was.
You really came and you're really picking my brain, and you're not afraid to sort of ask questions and ask the right questions. And since that day, they started off really well. I think you guys were, the rookie office of the year, and you went up from there. So congrats on your success, bud.
Well, you're a number one, so it's like just go straight to the number one and work out what that person's doing. And I think probably the main thing is the systems and processes. Like, if you always say that you always default to your systems, you never rise to the occasion, and it takes a lot of thought and process, especially as your business moves from one direction to another, on what that looks like on paper. And it's very easy to miss stuff along the way, and I think that's the reason why all of us are here, is just to pick up those type of little tidbits.